After having dinner, Gia begins teasing Jin by playfully snatching his glasses. He asks her politely once or twice to return them, but when she doesn't, then he gets serious and comes closer to her. Seeing Jin so close to her for the first time made her heart beat faster. Gia nervously says, "Hey, you must be really naive. If you think I'll give them back just because you pushed me against the wall?" He stays silent. She understands his silence, so she tries to calm down the situation by keeping quiet. Then Jin says quite aggressively, "I want my glasses back, Gia-han." As soon as she hears this, she puts Jin's glasses back over his eyes and suddenly she runs back to her room. She goes inside her room and closes the door, completely drenched in sweat, panting with fear. She couldn't understand what had happened to her because she had never been this close to a boy before. She asked herself, what was all this? What was this feeling? She had never thought of Jin in this way before. She sat down there and starts thinking about all this. The next morning, Jin is getting ready for office, tying his shoelaces, while the mouse was sitting behind him growling. Gia opens her door and peeks to see Jin. She asks herself what happened to him last night. He looked a little different, but now looking at him, he looks like the old Jin Minchul. Jin realizes that she is looking at him, so he turns and asks her why she's staring at him like that. She replies, "It's nothing." Gia, who was already feeling guilty for her last night act, felt even more embarrassed after this. She tells herself that she was drunk last night, so things got out of control. Otherwise, she had teased him many times before. She explains to herself that if she has done something wrong, then she can admit, apologize, and move on. It is not right to live in such despair anymore. She gathers courage and turns towards Jin and says, "Hey, Jin." As soon as he looks at her, Gia's voice stops. She is unable to say anything and starts trembling. She tries a lot, but no word comes out of her mouth. She asks herself what is happening to her. She just wants to apologize to him, but why is she not able to do it? She tries very hard, but she's not able to do it. In the middle of all this, Mouse sitting in the hall started meowing. Seeing it meowing, Gia also starts meowing towards Jin like a cat. Seeing this act of hers, Jin gets surprised that what is she doing? Along with him, the mouse too gets surprised. She becomes very confused and sad because of her act, as this act was shameful for her too. The scene now shifts to Jin's office where he narrates the entire incident to his only friend Sam. After hearing Jin's entire story, he came to the conclusion that Jin's wife had meowed at him early this morning. Jin nods yes. Then Sam asks him, is he deliberately trying to spoil his mood so early in the morning? Is he just boasting about how happy married life is? Jin replied that he didn't know much about girls. While Sam had a lot of dating experience, he hoped he knew about girls' moods. Sam then asks if he told anyone else about this, like manager Maria. Jin replied that she was in a bad mood, that's why he didn't tell her anything. Sam took a deep breath and said that from now on you won't tell anyone anything. He told Jin that maybe his wife was being sweet to him by meowing at him. Jin said that they are not that close to each other that they can joke like this with each other. Sam replied, but she is your wife, Jin. And then he took out his comb and fixed his hair. And then he confidently says, whatever happened, now you have come to the right person as I have a doctorate degree in loveology. He further added that most of the time, the more complex the problem, the simpler the solution. It is like when there is a problem with your computer, the first thing you do is reformat it. Jin listens as Sam gives him further advice. After taking advice from Sam, Jin returns to his apartment after work. He knocked on the door. Gia opened the gate smiling. He thinks this is the right moment to impress her. She's in the right mood. Jin remembers that Sam had said that if you don't understand anything about girls, then just agree with them and do as they say. So just like Gia meowed at him, he meows at her too. Seeing all this, she remains silent at first, then suddenly blood starts coming out of her mouth and she falls down. It all seems as if a soldier dies in the war and the commander in charge is paying tribute to her by taking her in his lap. The only difference here is that the jobless Gia-han is dying of embarrassment. Seeing her lying on the ground like that, Jin says it's weird while Sam told me to copy whatever she does, so I did the same. Hearing this, Gia's eyes open and she climbs on Jin's back and holding his hair, she tells him, you told other people what happened this morning. Why are you going around telling people this? He replies he didn't know what to do, So he took advice from Sam, and then he asks her what's wrong with that. After Jin says this, Jia's loud screams and sounds of breaking utensils start coming from his apartment. After fighting with Jin for a while, she comes to a conclusion that they need some new rules in their contract form, and hence Jia adds a new clause in the form that whatever happens between them will stay between them. Without saying anything, Jin accepts her proposal by bowing his head because he has no other option. He has a lot of questions to ask, but he doesn't even try to ask them due to fear of her. And just like that, a new rule gets added to their rule book. Thanks for watching, and comment the best part of this video.